All right, let's move on to the 3:30 p.m. Big Ten spot. Penn State, Indiana. Sean Clifford returns as quarterback for Penn State. Last season, 2,654 yards, 23 touchdowns, 7 picks. Also rushed for 402 yards and 5 touchdowns. Running back Journey Brown returns. Last year, he ran for 890 yards, 12 touchdowns. Defensively, only 4 starters returning from last year, and the only returning starter on the defensive line, Shakatoni. And, he led Penn State with 6.5 sacks last year. He was a beast. Last season, Indiana won 8 games for the first time in 26 years. Michael Penix Jr. returns as a starting quarterback. He was lost in November of last year with injury for the remainder of the season. In Penix's 6 starts, the Hoosiers went 5-1. Stevie Scott returns as lead running back. Top wide receiver also returning, Wap Billior. And him and Penix have a connect. They like each other a lot. And they're a dynamic duo here. But Fillier could probably make anybody look good. He caught for over 1,000 yards last year. Micah McFadden returns, their top linebacker, as is Ball, their top safety, and their top corner. Mullen also returning as well. Penn State, Indiana. Let's see what we're dealing with. We've already heard that a taint play of the day from our very own Matt Randall is on Penn State. Let's see what we are getting offered here from a market perspective. Penn State opening up at 6.5. There's a 6 at a couple books, and this total at 57.5. It's Big Ten. So let's go to Big John Ryan. Penn State, Indiana. What do you think here?
Well, I like Penn State quite a bit in this situation. They've dominated this series. They're 22-1. The only time that Indiana beat them was fairly recent ago. I paused because I thought I knew. I think it's 2014. Actually, it's 2016. And Indiana has played much better football in the Big Ten since then. They've made Penn State work like dogs to get wins. And last year they escaped at home with a 34-27 win. The year before that was 35-28, if I'm right. So Indiana is not going to be a team that head coach James Franklin is going to take lightly, especially to open up the season. I think it's an advantage for Penn State to open up the season with a competitive game because the path to the Big Ten championship runs through, again, Michigan, Ohio State. All 3 of those teams are in the same division of the Big Ten, making the Eastern Division much, much stronger than the Western Division. And that's the way they have it set up. But not going out on a limb here, and I have actually bet this, is I think Penn State can make it to the college football playoff. So you guys didn't fall off your chairs, so that's a good sign.
Really?
But I really do think that they have a shot at it here to upset. It's a round robin between Michigan and Ohio State every year. So if they take care of Ohio State, since they are clearly the much better team than the other 2, then they have to take on Michigan, who they've kind of owned here recently. And believe me, I saw it was the national TV game. I was at Penn State, and I didn't buy this shirt there. This was just bought. Just kidding. But anyway, that game was an 8:00. The tailgating there is just unbelievable. There has to be 400 acres of land with they estimated at over 200,000 people. The stadium holds 111. It's the second biggest in the country. And believe me, Happy Valley does not like Harbaugh in the least. And it was amazing, just an amazing experience in that game. So that's the must-have in this season. So they can't overlook Indiana. I think they'll win by double digits. I've already run the models on it. It's a 7-star play. So you can put me down for that. They have 15 starters coming back. So you have Clifford, the quarterback, coming back this year, the tight end, Freiermuth, if he doesn't go in the first 2 rounds or the second round of the NFL draft, then I don't know what I'm talking about. They have 4 of the 5 offensive linemen coming back, and that's critical. You've heard me say time and time again that when you have that kind of returning unit coming back, especially with an elite program, which I think Penn State is, it's borderline elite. It's not Clemson. It's not Alabama. It's not plug and play yet. But now that I think about it, Franklin actually just went ahead of Harbaugh in recruiting in the Big Ten Conference. Franklin has more 4 and 5-star recruits going to Penn State than ever before, and he just leapfrogged over Michigan. Still light years away from Ohio State, but at least they're closing the gap. So in terms of the technicals here, from the model, this is what I ran this morning. Penn State's going to score 28 points or more, and they're going to average a minimum of 6 rushing yards per attempt. I think that's very likely to happen. I think the majority of people would agree with that. So in previous away games installed as a favorite and meeting these measures has earned the Lions a perfect 11-0 straight-up record and an 8-2 against the spread mark for 80% winning bet, and those bets covered by 14 points. So I don't think it's unreasonable at all to think Penn State scores 28 and rushes the ball for 6 yards an attempt.
7-star play for John Ryan on number 8 ranked Penn State. CMac, what are you thinking here? Penn State, Indiana.
Yeah, I'd go Penn State here, and I would take it before. I have a feeling it'll go. Obviously, when I saw it open 7.5, it's dropped to 6.5. I think it'll go over 7, especially by kickoff. But I'm sure you could get it now. If you like Penn State, take it. I'm leaning. I don't know if I'm going to take it. I've been a big Indiana backer as a dog at home. This isn't enough points for me to pull the trigger with Indiana. And I think Penn State's for real. I mean, Clifford's back, like John was saying. They got a great defense. I don't know if they're college football playoff. Maybe. We'll see.
Reach. I admit it.
It's not that far of a reach, actually. I mean, but like you said, it goes through right now Ohio State and Michigan's just, I don't know. They're horrible. So Penn State would be my lean here, as long as it's under a TD. So.
And it is under a TD right now. We can't look at where the money and tickets are going at this point in the week on Monday. But there you have it. Penn State 7-star play. John Ryan, a lean for now. And is this going to end up being a no play for you, CMac, or do you think you might get to the window at the 6.5?
I might. I got to look at it more.
All right.
I haven't delved into that game too much. I didn't look at it real deep.
Big Ten Penn State action